good morning. Happy Moon Day. And happy birthday to all you Pisces lights out there. Yes, the sun moved into Pisces. And then a few hours later, we had a new moon, that rendezvous. I love Dane Rudyard's interpretation. He was considered to be the father of humanistic astrology. And he looked at a new moon like a rendezvous between two lovers, a grand love affair that was celestial, where the sun and the moon meet at the same degree in the same area of the sky, same sign. And the moon is impregnated, so to speak, with a whole cycle, 28 to 29 and a half days of solar power that the moon unfolds gently, phase by phase, sign by sign, the true rhythms of life. And that's what we're tapping into here today, because at 11:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time last night, we had a super new moon at 1 degree of Pisces, the fourth moon in a row that is at 1 degree. That keeps underscoring, and has been for the 4 times, that we are in a time of new beginnings. And so, as Pisces is a water sign, it reminds us that water dissolves. Many of the places that are deserts now were oceans and verdant areas at one time, the Sahara being an example, and where I live in the Mojave, also an example. And it shows in the mountain ranges, in the rocks, etc., that water dissolves. So this is one thing to remember. Hi, Denise. Hello. Yes, please check in if you're here with me this morning. I just so appreciate it when you're on the live stream. And all of you have been watching the replay and getting benefit from actually working with the new and full moon energies, which is what we'll be doing from now on. And I want to put my love and gratitude out to Debbie Garcia right away. You're not seeing her beautiful face, but she's behind the scenes making the technological stuff happen for us. Yeah. So, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. It's a great theme song for this Pisces cycle, the dreamer of the zodiac. Of course, you know what we're going to do. First thing, we're going to drop into our hearts. So close your eyes, feel your feet on the floor, feel that energy of the soles of your feet. No accident that it's called the soles, right? Moving down about 3.5 feet below, or if you're in a tall building, move it all the way down to the earth and then go 3.5 feet below to your personal earth star. This is why everywhere you walk is sacred ground, spirit connecting with earth. And so take a breath, and as you breathe in through your nose, feel the energy of the earth, those beautiful, beautiful colors and kingdoms coming up through your feet, the mineral kingdom in all its glory, crystalline energy coming up, up, up through your legs, your torso, up through your head. And as it moves up to the top of your head and you start to exhale through your mouth, white light pours down through your crown chakra, clearing any negativity from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, to the tips of your toes, and everything in between is being cleansed. Any negativity, anything that you think, anything that is preventing you from being here, present in this moment with me. After all, the only point of power is the present moment. Where is the breath in your body? Is your belly moving? Are you feeling that wonderful energy enlivening your heart and every one of those trillions of cells in your body? Yes, trillions. You are the universe, yourself, each one of us. When this physical illusion is dropped, we are part of a oneness that is the truth of what's really happening here in this grand illusion. Breathe in all the way up, feeling your feet, grounding. That white light pours down. One more beautiful inhalation. the prana life force from source being breathed in. And as you exhale, allow your consciousness, your mental energy to drop. Your beingness now drops behind your facial mask, through your throat and neck, down through your chest, coming into your heart. And from your heart, it's like an explosion of rosy pink love, just through every cell of your body, priming the pump of your being with love, self-love. And now we see turquoise and lavender rays coming to fill us, the colors of Pisces, the Pisces moon. Beautiful turquoise, lavender, watercolors. Just feel that energy. Feel your heart so grateful to be filled with love, for the truth of your being to be acknowledged, the creative source of our universe, love. And that energy moves throughout your whole body and through your skin, filling your auric field with love, self-love from a full well, moving out into your world, making your dream of life real, for you are a creator. Breathe in, breathe out, making your exhalation a little bit longer than your inhalation. Then open your eyes and come back to be with me. Yes, the heart drop. Very, very relevant at the time of this new moon, as Venus completed its journey through Pisces, and Jupiter and Venus and Neptune were within 4 degrees of each other. Neptune is at 25 degrees of Pisces, home in its own sign, which only happens about every 162 years. And Venus taking a little bit of a meeting, beautiful, because the heavenly octave of love is Neptune, where we move into the love of the oneness. And Venus is that earthly love, pleasure, how we magnetically attract and receive what we need and want. And so those two met in Pisces, a beautiful gift to ignite this new moon. And then today, Venus has moved into Aries. Yeah, interesting, because Aries is ruled by Mars. So we might find that love affairs are brief, that we meet some really assertive guys. I know that's happened to me online this past week. Really assertive guys who call me by very affectionate names. I don't know who they are. So it's interesting. But Pisces really wants to tap into the love that it knows it is. So we have that movement, that big movement of Venus moving into Aries, and this new moon really kind of opens the portal for the shifts that are going to occur in March. Yeah, the way I'm talking is very Piscean, because Pisces is, it's water, it flows. And interestingly enough, the angel cards, I pulled 2 angel cards yesterday, release and surrender. And then this morning I pulled education, surrender again, and delight. So when you connect with spirit in your everyday life, which is the moon, everyday life, then you can experience bliss and delight in your life. Isn't that a wonderful idea? Yeah. It's actually a truth, not just an idea. So we're talking about making the dream real. And, when you talk about Venus in assertive, Mars-ruled Aries, this can be a show-off. Like it reminded me when I was looking at this, reminded me of the way that the male bird will do an incredible dance. Some of these birds that look very normal, especially in South and Central America. the bird population is so incredible. And then they fan out into these marvelous colors and displays. And so this is, Aries is very self-sufficient and independent. And having it in this, we may find that, it's very self-reliant, and it's not very Venusian, not very Venus-like. So with Venus, people rely on one another. And Venus was at home, exalted in Pisces. So this is something that we're bringing forward. And looking at, at the leader that is self-sufficient, but also has a heart, right? Yeah. And the willingness to be self-sufficient as opposed to codependent in our relationships, with a desire to just dissolve into our mate. So Venus moving is actually kind of nice because it says, be you. Don't lose you in a relationship. I happen to have Pisces on my 7th house cusp. So I really have experienced that in my life, this dissolving, and then the relationship dissolves so my Aquarian self can find itself again. Yeah. But I've learned. I did marry my moon mate and my love of my life when I learned the lesson of being self-sufficient and not relying on another person to be my spiritual conduit, which I haven't really done, but the dissolving I have experienced. So you can watch the replay on YouTube. Please subscribe if you do watch. You can also leave comments there. If you're watching me on Facebook, like, comment. Some of you have been sharing me, and that's just so, so wonderful when you go that extra bit for me. And it means that you are appreciating and getting benefit from what's happening here. And I so appreciate that. And I'm also on Instagram. And if you'd like a reading, you'll see the link on Facebook. And you can, one of the things that I'm offering now through the equinox, you'll see 2 $99 readings there. And I'm offering a 20-minute cosmic conversation that isn't a recorded audio, even though you can record the reading, but to help you understand where these monumental changes that are happening in March will be happening for you, and how to really tap into the energy as we move from, as Saturn moves into Pisces and Pluto moves into Aquarius. Such an intense time of change. And Pisces is a mutable sign, mutable, changeable. And so it reminds us that change is a sure thing, and to go with the flow. That's the way you avoid feeling like you're in jail. I mention that because there was an out of sign conjunction between the sun and the moon and Saturn at 28 degrees, moving toward critical degree of Aquarius. And so Aquarius, I mentioned last week, what are the lessons you've learned while Saturn's been in Aquarius that you will carry forward with you? Aquarius can be somewhat detached, and you might feel limitations, but of course, Saturn loves it when you make a blueprint. And last month, this last cycle in Aquarius, I should say, was the visionary. The word was envision. Before that, we had the strategist in Capricorn, the planner. And so, the whole thing when you get to Pisces is to release that need for control, because the key to making your dream real is the recognition and the dedication to co-creation with spirit. We realized with the Aquarius cycle that we are human, pouring a new consciousness onto the earth of unity in diversity and an awareness of oneness, looking for our community. And in Pisces, we recognize that we are spirit having a human experience, spirit in action through us. And the word is, for this cycle, is imagineering. I love that word. Imagineering. Yeah, because Pisces, Neptune, they all have to do with imagination. And the rulers or the resonators of Pisces are Jupiter, now in Aries, along with Venus. Jupiter and Neptune are the co-rulers of Pisces. And you might want to go back to April 12th if you journal or just in your psyche and see what was happening then, because that was when Jupiter and Neptune met, a rare once in a lifetime occurrence. And so at that time, you were asked to dream big, dream bigger than you'd ever dreamed, and take a leap of faith. So you might check back with that and see if your dream has shifted, see if you were on track. Where if there's somewhere beliefs, patterns, habits that are not in alignment with your dream, it's time to dissolve them. To just let them dissolve, see them breaking apart. You can do a burning bowl ceremony, just see them moving out into their native nothingness. Not going to take that forward into your dream creation, right? So as I'm going to move through the week, and then we will move into doing some new moon work, getting some powerful intentions seeded. Because this is the time, while Saturn moves into Pisces, we'll see the limitations on our dream of life, but Saturn loves it when you make a blueprint and you check in with what you need to do daily to make that dream real, to keep it alive in you as you. So I mentioned Venus moved into Aries. It's Moon Day because the days of the week were named after planets. The 7 days, we had 7 planets that we worked with originally. Now we have 3 modern ones, as they're called, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And we've added Chiron. And Chiron's very, very important. It's in Aries as well. So with Saturn, Saturn has to do with reality and form. So that's why as Saturn moves into Pisces, recognizing the limitations and making our dream real, bringing it into into reality by walking it, by being aware of simple things like the fact that when your feet touch the earth, it's sacred ground, and you connect with that earth star everywhere you go, and you can bless the earth as the earth blesses you continually with a supportive atmosphere, food, shelter, air, big one, right? And so as we look at tomorrow, the moon moves into Aries at 9:14 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as you know, all the times that I say are Pacific Standard Time, so adjust for wherever you might be watching from. And on Wednesday, at 6:27. Now this is Thursday, so Wednesday is pretty quiet, but the moon remains in Aries. And that's really lovely because here we are doing this new moon work today. And Aries kind of, it always gives you go juice. And Mars in Gemini is squaring Pisces, but it asks you to communicate. So communicating with spirit, because intuition is so, so high during this Pisces cycle. On Thursday at 6:27 a.m., we move into the crescent phase. So every phase of the moon lasts 3.5 days. And so when we have a week where the new moon is on Sunday or early Monday, or maybe before 11:05, if you're in Hawaii or in that part of the world, then you have 2 phases in that week, and you can just know that that's happening. The new moon phase, the crescent phase. Next Monday, we'll move into the first quarter phase, and then we'll move into the gibbous phase, and then we'll have a full moon. Yeah. So the phases there are 8 phases of transformation in every cycle. That's what you want to tap into. And sometimes journaling, if you feel like journaling is overwhelming, if you journal with the phases, then it's every 3.5 days. Make an entry at some point in that. With the new moon and the full moon, the closest you can be to the actual time of that celestial event, the more powerful your work will be. On Friday, the moon moves into Taurus. Asks you to ground your intentions. And that's going to be at 12:29 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Saturday, quiet. The moon stays in Taurus. So it's a great day if you haven't been getting out in nature, doing something to celebrate. It's interesting in the desert. In February, we really get portents of spring, which is what the crescent phase and Imbolc, the celebration on the 2nd of February, are all about. And there are daisies, just a riot of daisies where I live. And I love watching them. They're like they're heralding that spring is coming. On the 21st of March, we'll have the equinox. And so I love seeing them open in the morning. By the time the sun is, really up, they're fully open by about now, 10 a.m. And then at night, around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they begin to close up and go to sleep. And I love that. It's a very happy time of year. Makes me smile every time I see them. I salute them and express my gratitude and appreciation. And just to all of nature. It's a wonderful thing to do when the moon is in Taurus, and to remind yourself to ground yourself. Sunday, 7:47 a.m., the moon moves into Chatty, Gemini. Variety is the spice of life when the moon is in Gemini. And it prepares us for the square of the first quarter. Because when the first quarter moon happens next Monday, that means that the sun and the moon are square each other. Sun in Pisces, moon in Gemini. So that is the week ahead. And I love this quote by B. Quilliam for the Pisces, new moon for Pisces. There is a fine line between dreams and reality. It's up to you to draw it. And, I mentioned that last cycle popped a new vision calling you to take action on the part you play in the human experience. And now it's time to access the sacred and magical in your everyday life. Become more aware that your spirit having that human experience. Art, romance, poetry, movies, beauty, and glamour all guide you to the high side of the Pisces cycle's energy. After all, Pisces rules illusion and fantasy and glamour, while undermining emotions, escapist habits, and limiting beliefs keep you on the low side. It's time to make changes, complete some old patterns, dissolve what is not aligned. Just dissolve it in your consciousness. And you can just see that. When a thought comes forward that's not aligned with your vision, your dream of life, you can just send some light-filled energy toward it and just see it dissolving, just see it breaking up. And this planetary setup with the Venus and Neptune meeting tells you that it doesn't have to be painful. Transformation doesn't have to be painful. So magical, mystical Neptune is underscoring the old illusions and sabotaging habits you've got to leave behind, so your dreams have a fighting chance. Nurturing that connection with your inner spark of spirit and feeling your oneness with all life are keys to releasing the past. And of course, that South Node is by sign trining this Pisces cycle, continuing to remind you to release your old emotional stubbornness where you are holding on to old hurts and wounds. So then you'll be ready to make real breakthroughs during this cycle and start living your dreams. Now, if you want to do some ritual later today after the show and continue, because we're going to handle one intention during this live stream, and then you can go back in and do, if you do health, relationship, business, and beauty, or health, relationship, and that can apply to family or home and beauty, whatever. But, I tell you to limit it to 4 because of the feelization that we do. That is what fast tracks your intentions. So I mentioned that this is a water sign. The flower for this cycle is water lily or lotus. And of course, lotus is the sign of death and rebirth because, like the daisies I mentioned, it closes up at night in the mud, goes into the mud, the ground of, that murky ground of the unconscious, and then it rises to be reborn every day. So that's us, right? When we go to sleep and then we open our eyes and we're back in the world. The metal is platinum. The colors are intensified turquoise and lavender. And I don't know if you can see my earrings, but they're dolphins. That's why I put these on today. I love dolphins, and they're very much a symbolic of the Pisces cycle. Remember, dolphins have fun. They play. And that's something to bring forward from that Leo full moon, is the play and the fun. The gems and crystals are aquamarine and labradorite. So those are just some of the ritual tools that you might enjoy using if you set up an altar with candles and crystals and colors, right? And a good affirmation is, I am spirit in action. Therefore, I am blessed by everything and everyone. So let's see what else I have here for you, if anything, before we move into ritual space, celebration of this new moon. So one of the things that Pisces is considered in what's called the universal zodiac to be the 12th house, to represent the 12th house. And the 12th house of the zodiac is a house of endings. It's the last sign of the zodiac. And it's where we slip the surly bonds of earth and merge with the divine. We look for meaning. What is the true meaning of life? And I remember years ago on Actors Studio, James, I can't remember his last name right now, but he's passed on. But his at the end of every interview, he would ask a question. And the question was one of the questions was, when you get to the pearly gates, what do you think the source's question to you, or St. Peter's question to you, will be? And I remember the interview was with Clint Eastwood, so it was kind of surprising, but he said, I think I'll be asked, how well did you love? It's really, really a beautiful, beautiful message for this time of year. How well are you loving? How well are you loving yourself? Because Pisces has to do with compassion, and self-compassion is absolutely necessary if you are truly going to have a well and an understanding and a vibration of compassion in your life. So again, the 12th house is a house of endings. Thus, the need to dissolve that which is not aligned with your dream. When we move into the first house, things come out into the light of day. And that's when spirit is ignited into form in Aries as the child of the zodiac, and also leadership as those dreams are brought forward, and action is really taken on them in spring when the first quarter appears at the equinox. So, as I mentioned, at the time of the new moon, we had the what's called the lower and higher octaves of love, Venus and Neptune together. So beautiful, because love is the creative substance from consciousness that takes things from our consciousness or our unconsciousness into manifestation. Illusion and dreams. So journaling your dreams, I've been mentioning this over the past few years with Neptune and Pisces, but really, really important now. Waking dreams, sleeping dreams, write your dream down. Take some time. I hope that you really wrote your vision down. Why is writing so important? Writing is instant manifestation. It's on paper. And one of the great things to do is to read it, is to get your vision done, get your dream, and the vision and the dream can evolve. You might go back and change it and add to it and take some things away as you grow through inspiration throughout this time, this pivotal time on our planet and in the history of humanity, the herstory of humanity, whichever way you want to look at it, the story of humanity. So some of the things that Pisces has to do with are oneness, inspiration, it's the breath of God coming through you, imagination, limitlessness. And that's one of the things that Pisces has to be careful with in relationship, is healthy boundaries. And that's where Venus and Aries can help with that. Compassion, empathy, intuition. It's really, really, it's kind of a tightrope walk, because with empathy, especially if you have a lot of Piscean or Neptunian energy, you really feel what other people are feeling. And so feeling that, find, if it's useful, fine, but don't let it be something that just stays, permeates your field, especially if you are in a situation where your frequency, you have to kind of, mediate your frequency to deal with what's around you every day. Remembering you are that lighthouse, you are a creator, very important, but having compassion, really important. The challenges are judgment, being really scattered in your focus, and spiritual arrogance is another one. And also Pisces opposite sign, the balance point, Virgo, reminds you to be discerning. Don't just be a sponge for everybody's stuff, right? Yeah. So escapism is another thing, but merging with the divine, this is the real desire of Pisces. And if you look at the glyph, it's two, let me see, two, I'm trying to do this backwards. Anyway, it looks like an H, but it's really two crescent moons with a bar in between. And that's reminding you that you are bringing heaven to earth, and you are walking between the two and bringing that oneness together in you. So reflexology, pedicures, things having to do with the feet, walking, feeling the soles of your feet connect with the earth and blessing the earth as the earth blesses you. Dancing, movement. This is the thing. Pisces rules the lymphatic system. Neptune has to do with your immune system. Also, they rule another thing that they rule is the pineal gland. So keeping your inner ocean flowing with daily movement. It's really easy to become stagnant in the winter months, but just dancing around your house, putting some music on and getting yourself moving, getting your inner ocean flowing. We all know what a stagnant pond looks like. Don't want to be a stagnant pond. And so poetry, the music of the spheres, is ruled by Pisces. Good morning, Kat. Oh, what a sweet message. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And so those are the upsides, right? The poet of the zodiac, the imagineer of the zodiac. Yes. Making the dream real. So powerful. And the key is co-creation with source. So moon is your daily life. The cycle has to do with how you're navigating in your daily life and world and your habits and patterns. So I begin the day with a gratitude meditation or affirmations while I'm in bed. I bring light in and I feel it, and then I in my heart, and then I move it out, that love and light. I move it out to my area, my home, my community, the world at large, and then out into the universe. And then I bring it back in and I feel myself supercharged. So it's really, really good to connect with spirit, because the monkey mind, especially with Mars in Gemini, takes over really fast. Have you found that? Yeah, that you can wake up with your to-do list before your eyes are even open, So if you are dedicated to a morning habit of inspiration and connection, it really can help set you up. Because some of the negative things that can happen with Pisces is escapism. When we feel disconnected from spirit and that divine discontent sets in, that's why Neptune and Pisces have to do with addiction and drugs, altered consciousness, to not feel. And this is something that I think we're really going to see when Saturn moves into Pisces. I think we're really going to see people, who just want to escape the madness, We're going to see people numbing themselves down. And that's where it's important for all of us to have compassion and not go into judgment, but to see a world where people are so connected that they don't feel the need to escape in that way. They escape into creativity, spirit, co-creation, imagineering, those things. I know I have a friend who was out doing a haiku during every phase of the moon. And that's a beautiful thing to do. Haiku, if you want to look that up. It also rose-colored glasses. So this is a thing with Venus and Aries. Be careful, because relationships can seem just amazing, just perfect, and then they can be short-lived with Venus and Aries. So just be aware of that. Take your time. The Aquarius cycle reminded you of the power of friendship. When you're in a relationship, you want someone who is your friend as well as being a lover. Yeah, or maybe not even a lover, just a friend, because relationships take many, many forms, but the basis is love, ideally. Suffering and victimhood are also downsides of Pisces. Things to dissolve. You are the creator of your world. And if you would have attracted some karmic things, because the 12th house also has to do with karma, you know that you can move through it with gratitude, appreciation, intention to release and surrender. You know, you can work your stuff. You're all light workers. Hopelessness. But remember, the co-ruler is Jupiter, which is now in Aries. Jupiter is a co-ruler with Neptune of Pisces. And so that spiritual expansion, that's really what Jupiter calls us to do. Deceit, betrayal, dishonesty, these are more of the downsides of Pisces. You want to go for the high side. The high side is being inspired. And therefore, that's where boundaries are so important, because you want win-win relationships. You want relationships where it's not just direct current, where someone plugs into you and saps your soul energy. You want AC, alternating current, give and receive, right? Yeah. So, as I mentioned, it's really good to write your vision down, to write your dream down. It's important. It's a very seminal piece. And then go back. What we're going to do today is we're going to go back to the Leo full moon, where you made a wish, right? Yeah, made a wish. So if you don't know where 1 degree of Pisces is in your chart, there is, you can message me, but also go online. There are free charts. AstroSeek is one, but they do lunar and solar returns. Let me see. But there are, if you put in free natal chart, you'll find some choices. You can go and do that. And thank you for putting that up. This is where you can get a reading. And if you want a cosmic conversation for 20 minutes with me, just message me. You can go ahead and pay for one of the $99 readings, but then message me and let me know that you did that, but you don't want an audio. You want a conversation with me directly. So that's my special for this time of emergence, as we move towards spring. So we're going to bring the wish forward. That's a good way to look at, if you're like, I don't know what intention to set. Well, a healthy immune system, an intention to move, to dance every day, to listen to music, to really welcome the things that inspire you every day, and to be open to new sources of inspiration, to connect to source every day, to keep your inner ocean flowing, to work with your pineal. One of the things that has occurred over thousands of years for us is the calcification, as it's called, of the pineal gland, which is the third eye, is the axis here, but it goes to our midbrain, the pineal gland. It's like a pea-sized gland, midbrain. And one of the ways to decalcify, there are things you can look up on YouTube, different ways to decalcify and align your chakras. But if you are working with your pineal every day, you will decalcify it. So this is really a good thing to commit to and intend during this cycle. With love, it's attracting someone where you do not look to each other to be each other's spiritual conduit, but where you are both based in spirit. As Khalil Gibran said, a relationship that works is one where two people are walking together down the path, but with enough space between them to grow. So that's a good reminder. In business, what's the dream? What's the dream? And what steps are you willing to take to dissolve old fears and old trepidations and old illusions? What's possible? Who are you serving? Source, bring me the people I'm born to serve. That's always one of my mantras. And if you're looking at beauty, this is a great time to to glam yourself up a little bit, to get ready for spring, to start to play with colors, with spring colors, and to play with the colors of this cycle, in your home, in your atmosphere, whether it's a plant or a plant that's in a pot that's turquoise or lavender, to add a little bit of that to your life. So these are just some ideas. Because Saturn was in an out of sign conjunction with this new moon, my wish was with the Leo full moon was to have my gifts benefit others and be appreciated. And now I'm moving that into to attract, to manifest. I intend to manifest the tribe that is of like-minded spirit, where those values are shared in common, working with the rhythms of life, remembering that we're creators, knowing that we create our reality, rather than being around people who feel like they're just at the effect of reality all the time. People who understand that everything is energy, that everything is source. There's nothing that's outside of that field that we can't even imagine, that incredible field of loving consciousness that is the creative stuff of the universe. So get your pen and paper. Simplify your first intention. Think it over. Let's simplify it. I need to do that with everything I just said as well. I happily and thankfully now create or intend, and it can be to make my dream real, to take the steps and do the things necessary to make my dream of this new earth real. And there's a wide sextile to the North Node in Taurus. So the earth is definitely reminding us to include it, because, it's about bringing your dream down to earth, right? Yeah, so I happily and thankfully. And if you know where 1 degree of Pisces is in your chart, you can target it for that area. Pisces is in my house of daily life and physical health. So I know I'll be making a health intention to move, to dance, to get out in nature, to stretch, Yes, a community of moonmates. Oh, I love that. Source, bring me the people so I can be of service that is heart aligned with my visions. Yes. And now your intention is happily and thankfully. I happily and thankfully create, intend. That's the way we always start our intentions, with happiness and gratitude, because gratitude is the soil. It is the fertilizer for the soil, that is the fertile soil that's in which our intentions are going to flourish, grow and flourish. All right. So now we're going to be working with the heart and the pineal. So I ask you to put your feet on the floor, palms up in your lap. And as the breath comes in, I want you to feel the area where your dantian, about 2 inches above your belly button. Feel that area enlivened. Because that area, your heart center and your pineal, all of those are going to be engaged. We're going to do something a little different with this that's very, very powerful. So breathe in through your nose, filling your whole body. the top of your head, the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes, and filling your whole chakra centers, all of your chakra centers. There are 114 chakras, but we work with 7 here. Breathe in, all the way up, breathe out. Breathe in, be sure your belly is moving, that you're breathing fully, all the way up. And it's almost like a figure 8, where the breath comes into your belly, then into your heart, up to your pineal, and circles back, down through your heart on the exhalation, down through your belly. Breathe in. And on the next breath, on the next exhalation, drop into your heart. You can hear the wind chimes as the wind picks up here in the desert. The winds of change. Drop, drop, drop. And now that you're in your heart, envision that dream, that intention that is commensurate with your making your dream real. What does it look like come true right now? My next door neighbor is singing a new moon song. She's a singer, Celtic tunes. Beautiful. So what does it look like to have that dream, that intention that you just wrote down? What does it look like? With the happiness, the gratitude, the manifestation, visualize that in full living technicolor. This is a delicious process. So really, we're going to spend just a couple of minutes doing this, visualizing what it looks like. And now, move into your heart again and feel what it feels like to have that dream come true right now. Step into the picture you've created. Your feelings create, so really allow yourself to feel what that feels like. Blissful. Feel the bliss. You imagineer, just feel that. As you see your picture all around you, and you feel what that feels like. And now move up to your third eye. Raise your eyes up inside your closed lids, a little bit around the mid-brow and a little bit above. And now focus on the feeling within the visual, within the picture, for 17 seconds or more. Really hold it. And now, in your third eye, see three times. 3, 3, 3. Now, 2, 2, 2. 1, 1, 1. And maintaining the feeling and the visual on the next inhalation, you are going to breathe out through your third eye and manifest this dream made real. Whoosh! And open your eyes and come back to be with me. Your third eye connects you to Source. And as I mentioned earlier, the key to making your dream real is co-creation with the awareness of the oneness that you truly are, your connection with Source, which is there 24/7. And now allow 3 days. You surrender your intention for the next 3 days because you've given it to your higher self. You've given it to Source. And just watch what happens with this intention. I would love to know. You can re-energize it 3 days from now. Once you see what's happening, you can do your feelization every day, but that's different. With this particular intention, we're going to play with this intention. You can do your feelization with the other intentions, or you can do this process again with each intention and surrender it into the dark of the new moon, that area of the unconscious, which is what Pisces really is the land of, that connection with Source. And then you'll be moving into the crescent phase, and it will be time to pull the resources together to look at where you are still struggling to move away from the past, which guides you to what you might still need to dissolve. And as I told you, to target that and just whoosh, your breath. That's where the word inspire comes from. Spire, breath. Your breath is extremely powerful. It's the thing that you must have to live. You can do without water, you can do without food, you can do with a lot of things, but you won't last very long without the breath, right? So that's how you inspire your intentions. So you might play with that throughout this cycle, because as Saturn moves into Pisces, we will see the limitations that keep us from being in co-creation with Source in our lives all the time. And you have tools, and that's what part of what I hope I'm sharing with you are some of these tools that you can actively use in your life so you don't go to the dark side of Pisces when Saturn moves in and seeks to show us the limitations of the downside of this energy. So you need to dedicate yourself. We all need to dedicate ourselves to being compassionate and knowing that we are Imagineers. We're the engineers of creation. It's within us. It is us. We are spirit in action. And you're a lighthouse for spirit. Yes. So I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope that this lifted you up and elevated your spirit and gave you some wonderful ideas and imagineerings to work on. And let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if this is helpful for you, works for you, if this was fun for you. Because now and always, I love you to the moon and way beyond. Happy new moon in Pisces.